See if this thing works. All right, well, welcome everybody to Into the Box 2023, day one. Very excited to be back to our normal schedule of May. I think during COVID, we moved to September, and now finally we were back to May, so that's pretty good. That's the hashtag for the days, ITB 2023. Just a small introduction. My name is Luis Mahano, CEO of Ortus, computer engineer by trade. Some have called me a documentation weirdo. I kind of like it. But I'll be your host for the beginning of this keynote. And before we start, the two most important things to know. Where's the bathrooms? And what's the Wi-Fi? Whoops, that was too fast. No Wi-Fi. All right, don't be here. The restrooms at the end to the right, and that's the Wi-Fi, right? Important facts. So before we start the traditional things, thank you to our sponsors for trusting in us. Even Yogesh, all the way from India, here. Woo! So really cool to see everybody coming in from all over, and we even have a gift for you, Yogesh, that Maho is going to give you at one point because you made such a long journey to come here. So thank you so much. To the computer know-how guys who have been missing out because they're bands, but they're back. So we'll forgive them. But thank you so much for supporting us always and being here with us. Then, of course, thank you to all the speakers. So if you're a speaker, thank you so much for taking your time to be here and share knowledge and just hang out. This is a small, intimate conference, and we love that we can share and really just fellowship for the next 2 days. And, of course, all the ITB committee, Maria Jose, where's Jose? She's outside. Well, when you see her, just tell her she's doing an amazing job, and all the team from El Salvador helping, and it's just everybody what they've done. All right, and then for the schedule, just go to schedule.intothebox.org. It's a quick app. Download it. It's built with our stuff, and you can see the whole schedule for the 2 days of what's going on. We're also going to have all the recordings, of course, in CFcasts. Everybody has free access to them. In about 2 to 3 weeks, we usually post them, and then you can share them with your team. Remember, tonight, Happy Box, so you better recover for Happy Box. We have our traditional mariachi band coming. Very exciting. So we'll see you at 6. If it's not raining, it'll be outside. So we'll have fun outside, and if not, it will be in the room behind here as well. And then tomorrow we have a lot of goodies from our sponsors away, but you must be present to win. All right. Well, to start, before we do all our traditional announcements and stuff, it's really exciting to know that this has been going on for 10 years now. This just started as an idea. I remember with Kurt talking 10 years ago, probably even more. And we were like, maybe we should do our box conference. Even Nathaniel said that, I remember. And we did. And it was in Minneapolis before CF Objective. And now it's 10 years. So it's pretty crazy. We continue to do it. We do it not for the money. We do it for the passion, for really hanging out together and doing business together. So I have a small video to show, to look at the past and actually embarrass some people. So we'll start off and we'll traverse 10 years ago.
What made me decide to want to speak Into the Box was the fact that I wanted to be able to give something back. So much has been given to me. I wanted to be able to share my love of the product with others.
Well, I'll tell you. There's a lot of reasons. Tell me some of them.
Kurt made me.
The reason I want to speak for Into the Box is because Luis got me in a half Nelson with one hand behind my back. And I was like, all right, tap out, I'll do it.
Number 2, Luis made me.
Welcome in. Welcome to Cool Box Theater.
So that's really kind of a paradox, and that's how we got here. And somehow we're on this ride and I can't get off. I've tried getting off, and I can't.
I'm with him.
Stockholm Syndrome, I don't know. I've kind of, grown to get attached to it, even though I was kind of forced into it. So, it is what it is. Counseling will fix a lot of things in a few years.
Recently, I've just got more involved with the community. I reached out and went to a couple conferences and really enjoyed them. So when I heard that Coldbox was doing their own Into the Box conference, I really wanted to jump at the chance and see if I could present.
To me, web development means taking the best that technology has to offer right now to give people tools on the internet to do things that they not only enjoy but are very useful in their everyday lives.
What does web development mean to me? I am passionate about user interface. I make pretty what Kurt makes work. Yeah, I like to make things work. I think making it look pretty is just a waste of time. So that's pretty much what he does all day, is waste time.
Nice. I thought the same thing about him, actually. That's crazy.
Web development is for me completely redefined since I work with Coldbox, and it means for me to focus on the core parts of my customers' needs and of what the end user really wants. And if I have fun doing it, then it's the greatest job you can have in the world.
Development. What does web development mean? What does it mean to you? I don't know.
I want to experience espresso.
A cold box convention or a box convention has been something we've looked forward to for a long time. It's neat to get not only members of the community together that good at this, enjoy this, and making and using these products, but also bringing together people who are interested in them. So what I'm looking forward to is the fellowship, the camaraderie of people that enjoy these products and know how to use them well.
Yeah, I heard the barista here does a really nice job. So I'm definitely looking forward to coffee, espresso. Also, I'm going to try to avoid, there's somebody speaking here named Luis. So I'm going to try to avoid him. I heard he's kind of angry sometimes, so I'm going to make sure that I stay away from him.
He's an angry.
Also, the doctor here is here, so I'm hoping to get a ride in the TARDIS.
Say to start using a framework earlier, right? So everyone, I think, kind of did what we did and tried to come up with their own framework and wasted a lot of time doing that. Just picking a framework, any framework, particularly Coldbox, would have been a smarter move to get on early, and to also to make sure to talk to Fox before they canceled Firefly.
If I could go back to when I started doing this and tell myself, I would say experiment, try things. Don't be worried about doing it right the first time, but just try and push, because you never know when you're going to find a way of doing something that you didn't see before.
The advice I would give myself is, don't be afraid. Jump in. Try everything and anything. It won't kill you. It won't hurt you. And the one thing, the most important thing, embrace object-oriented programming.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little video. A little fast. It was fun. I don't know about George saying try everything, but I'll be careful about that one. But really excited for 10 years of being able to do this. And even throughout these 10 years that have gone really fast, it's really been one of the most productive years at Ortus with the whole team, everything that we're doing. We are also expanded to the EU last year as well. Lots of stuff to show you during these 2 days, so very exciting. And like I said, we're here in the US, in El Salvador, where I was born, and now in Spain. So it's really interesting to see what 17 years happens in a blink of an eye. But to start, we'll start off with lots of announcements, lots of cool stuff that we're doing. We'll start off with the first one. So we'll start off with my baby, Coldbox. That it's not a baby no more, it's 17 years. So it's kind of daunting that ColdBox has been around for 17 years now, since I first released it in 2006. The 6X series started in August of 2020. Releases just in that release. There's over 504 ColdBox modules now in ForgeBox. A tremendous amount of pull requests. They kind of doubled in the last year to around 2,644. So we see a lot of community involvement in from core to modules to templates to documentation. So really exciting to see ColdBox is still, performing throughout 17 years of being around. And today, I'm excited to say that ColdBox 7 is now released this week. So very exciting. This has been 2 years in the works. Lots of stuff in ColdBox 7. We have a session tomorrow just for it. But we have a new roadmap for it as we start accelerating and building more things. So this year, 6 is now LTS. So this is something that we just introduced, which is support. And 7, obviously available for the whole year. The next year, 8 will appear. 7 and 6 still remain for long-term support. And then as time traverses, things move away, but as you can see, 6 will still be supported all the way to 2025 in terms of security. And then we're introducing, even 4 releases at the same time for ColdBox. We have everything available and ready for this now, and we couldn't have done it before. So at one point in time now, we're going to be able to even support 4 versions to provide support for our customers. So let's look at what's new in ColdBox 7. Lots of stuff. Almost 30 bugs and about 75 feature enhancements just in this release alone. New engine support from the new released Adobe 2023 and Lucy 6. The long-term support builds are available, all automated, and even the majority of our core modules are working against all versions of ColdBox. This feature comes to Scott Steinbeck. So Scott, if you're here, thank you. Woo! Scott added really cool stuff to Whoops. If you don't know, Whoops is our exception system in ColdBox. It gives you a better experience as a developer to find everything during an exception. So Scott added SQL formatting and highlighting, so all your SQL looks beautiful. JSON formatting and highlighting as well. Render performance for the exceptions. Server to repository mappings and server to local mappings to open everything in VS Code or Sublime. So really a lot of interest to help the developers when there's exceptions. This one to me is a really important one for us as a community in ColdFusion and CFML. It is Wirebox Delegate. Whoever's done other languages such as PHP, for example, there's traits. Okay, these are traits for CFML. There's other languages like Ruby and Kotlin and PHP and Ruby that offer this already. All of them in order to bring them into ColdFusion. And this allows you to focus on smaller and testable parts. Okay, it allows you to build things over composition, over inheritance, better modularity and separation of concerns. It's really composition elevated, right? It will really definitely change the way that you develop your objects because you're going to focus on the smaller parts. So to show you how just it looks very simply, let's say we have a computer, and in traditional ways, we basically inject a collaborator, right? A memory in this case. And then we create the different functions to delegate, right, the behavior from the computer into a RAM. Okay, we've done this a lot. We've kind of used to it. However, we can do it better. So now you can actually tag your injection with the word delegate, and it will look at the memory object, it will look at all the public functions available, and it will absorb them into the computer so you can still use them, and it will delegate accordingly to the right appropriate object. So a lot cleaner, a lot less boilerplate, and you're still leveraging injection and composition. But it gets better. You can also do the shorthand delegation, which is via the component. So instead of doing injection, you can just say, hey, give me these delegates, and it could be one or more. And that way, you don't even have to do the injection. We'll do the injection for you, and then you'll have access to those objects and to those methods. Now, there's all kinds of things that I can't show here, but you have prefixes, you have suffixes, you can target specific methods, you can do a lot more. So lots of cool stuff, and you go to the what's new, and we'll show you. A real-life example could be an image resizer. So you can build a trait called image trait that resizes images, and then you can bring them anywhere you want by just saying, hey, I want that image trait in this component. And you can have that reusability available to you. And We got away a little bit, and we started creating a lot more of these delegates as we started refactoring things. So there are core delegates, which are available in Wirebox, Lockbox, and Cachebox. And there are Coldbox delegates that are only for the Coldbox MVC portions. So you have a lot of functionality available to you that you can bring in to any object in your space. Another feature that's really exciting for Coldbox 7 is performance, especially if you're building applications with ORMs and you have to deal with a lot of transients. We introduced a transient cache for the actual blueprints of objects for injections and delegations, and it was a whooping 585 performance increase for applications. I mean, it was nuts. We couldn't even believe it, but it's between the 400s to the 500s, especially when you're getting over 500 objects or things of that nature. It is incredibly fast. So really, really important for building high-performance applications, especially with transient objects. We also introduced lazy properties. So now inside of your components, you can tag a property. Oops, went too fast. You can tag a property with lazy, and then by convention, it will look for a builder function, okay, called build data in this example, and then you can build that data. That could be data, it could be components, it could be relationships, whatever. But it allows Wirebox to manage that for you, and it will build those getters and setters. We also introduced event-driven programming at the CFC level using property observers. So now you can tag a property with observed by and give it that function, and that function will be called every time you call a setter upon that property. So now you can intercept, and you can actually react according to the actual values in those setters. This one's really exciting for me, is the Coldbox CLI. So it's built on command box. This was part of the core. It's taken out now because we're doing the long-term support. So now you can say install Coldbox CLI at 7, at 6, at 8, at 9. So every CLI will be tagged according to the major version. We actually added API and documentation search right within the CLI. We can create resourceful handlers now. You can create seeders, migrations, entities. We've added tons of things, and we did even a release last night to actually create all the migrations for you, even if you add properties when you're defining your objects in the CLI. And of course, a lot more coming in the CLI now that it's detached from command box. This one is really, really cool for those that love scheduled tasks. Giancarlo Gomez, is he here, Giancarlo? Oh, Giancarlo's probably working on his presentation. But Giancarlo used to be known as the WebSockets guy. Now he's the scheduler guy. But he brought in major refinements in this release, and it was very nice to see from annual tasks to store metadata in the tasks to build nice UIs. Next run intervals are calculated correctly now, first and last business days, tons of new functions, so you can actually start on a specific time a task, on a specific time between, and lots of cool stuff for scheduled tasks. Module enhancements was another big area for Coldbox 7, especially configuration. If you've done an application with many modules and many configs, that Coldbox CFC just gets huge. So we introduced a new convention, config/modules, and then the name of the module, and you can just drop in your CFC there and just configure it. It has all the injections of a normal module config and Coldbox config. It has environment control, the whole thing, and it just makes it really nice for you to actually separate your configurations. Another big area we've been working on for really years is module injectors. So now every single module has its own injector to create hierarchical dependency injection. Okay? This is still an experimental feature. You can enable it, and basically the module will be self-contained. It will only look at its dependencies, models folder, and its children. Okay? It won't propagate up and things of that nature. And you can create modules that basically collaborate to the entire application and those that don't. So lots of stuff with module injectors coming, and it's experimental right now, but this will allow us to create modules that have the same name but in different locations. We also released our VS Code extension as well for Coldbox, and we know what we're doing now, so hopefully we'll do more enhancements for it and make you even more productive. But this is just a snippet of all the things available in ColdBox 7. Tomorrow we have a session on going pretty much deep on every single feature around it. So very, very exciting about it. So install it, give it a whirl, and give us some feedback. Alongside ColdBox came boxes. So throughout all these 17 years, we have many, many, many boxes. We couldn't even fit them in one slide, which is really exciting. We actually manage over 350 open source libraries right now, which is pretty crazy. And we released one last year. Called CB Debugger. Actually, Kurt was the first one that helped me with this project a long, long time ago. We made it better, Kurt. But version 3 was released last year. It really is a developer's best friend. We re-architected to use Alpine, a lightweight monitor and profile for your ColdBox applications, really extensible, very API friendly for those building just APIs, and we added QB, quick and CBORM support so you could actually know what's going on inside of these frameworks. And it was great, and we didn't stop there. So right now, version 4 is available already. And with version 4, we've added ColdBox 7, of course, the new CFML engines support. We have timer delegates now, so you can add delegates now to do timers. We added Adobe full SQL profiling, so every single SQL call made in Adobe will be profiled. And we're working on Lucy support right now. Metadata for those timers are enabled as well, so you can actually store whatever metadata you want in those timers. Everything is integrated with the IDE now, so if there's exceptions, if there's anything that we have a stack trace on, you can click on and it'll open to that line of code in your VS Code or Sublime. It will profile your slowest ColdBox requests. It will show the slowest SQL, the DB time percentages, export and share those profilers, so you can share an exception and give it to somebody and add it into the debugger and you can show it, and lots more coming, like the debugger HQ. So this is setting the foundation for us to be able to revamp it into a standalone desktop and mobile friendly, and you can register ColdBox apps and be able to interact with them and see what's going on with them. But there's more. This one's an interesting one. Took us a while to decide if we were going to do this or not. Quite a while. Really nerve-wracking to do something like this. But it's something we said that we needed to do. So we forked something. I don't know what we'll fork this for now, which is the Hibernate Lucy extension. So the Ortus ORM extension is now available. We depend on this for many projects. We really want professional support to it. We wanted to push it forward. We wanted the latest Hibernate features. We wanted the community to be more involved, and it's available now. So we've done several, like almost 3 releases now silently, but it is available. There's the install string. Michael Bourne is the lead developer for it, and we're very excited on it. Not only did we fork it, we've already been working very hard on it. So we already added auto-gen map support to false for performance. Everything is fully documented, like everything you have to do. All the Java docs and the APIs are published on api.ortussolutions.com on every build. The initialization performance for ORM has increased over 80% in this extension. The reload time over 60%. I mean, it's crazy the amount of work that Michael has done just for the ORM. Java JUnit test suites, which were very important for us to make sure that our Java code is actually being code coveraged. Okay? Out of builds for everything. And we've encapsulated all the ORM features into the ORM extension and not relying on anything on the Lucy core. And of course, for code quality and Sonar linting, everything to make sure that we're building everything nicely. Lots of fixes already and more. I think Michael closed like 4 tickets last night, so he's very excited about it. And we really need you, you know. We love pull requests. We love to make sure that this keeps growing, and now it's available. So we really appreciate it. Last release is the Modern CFML book. Has been completely revamped. Support new sections, new engine support, free online always to support the community. And the PDF and print is coming soon to Amazon, so it would be great if you support us with that. And the CFcast series is actually being built right now for those that are just starting with CFML. Now they the book in video format. So I think this will be important to raise a new generation of CFML developers. And with that, we'll start off with another product. We haven't given much love, but we have given a lot of love now. So it's been for a long time now. It's really the de facto standard for BD and BDD in Cold Fusion. It's crazy that it's had almost 1.5 million downloads, because I'm pretty sure only 10% of the people are testing. But at least they're downloading it, so we're getting there. So the 4X series started April 2020, and the 5X series starts now. So we released it last week. Lots of cool stuff on 5. First one is Method Spies by Eric Peterson, which I believe still that he's a spy of some type. But this is really important for your testing purposes. Code coverage. So we've added code coverage for a long time, but now we've added batching. So you have a huge suite of tests. They can now batch and each other. Performance, thanks to Mr. Adam here, they're always on performance. We've increased it a lot, and we still have more to go for the performance of your test suites. Skipping, so you can actually skip specific specs and suites as well. Globbing path patterns that we've added, so you can actually choose certain type of bundles to test. Lots of improvements, and of course, the engine support. But we also introduced the CLI. So the TestBox CLI was from CommandBox. It's not on its own life cycle. You also have API and doc search right in the CLI, all the tests and the creation of handlers and everything, the runners and the watchers, and we have even more plans to make that extension actually part of VS Code. So finish it, but there's updates to the VS Code extension, and you're going to do a lot more from VS Code with TestBox. But we always love that, right, Brett? More. But there's more. And this one is really, really exciting to me. And it's really my privilege to present Esme, Senior Developer at Ortus, and what we call our Chief Design Officer, to give you a sneak peek of what we call Project Tide.
I think there it goes. Okay, now can we get started? Oh, here, well, yeah, Luis twisted my arm to come up here on the keynote. Well, here presenting Tide, keeping your code clean. So it's TestBox IDE, where it's a new enhanced UI, better user experience, to see your test. This will have visibility of all your tests in one screen. You'll be able to collect your different tests in collections, select one or more multiple tests to run. They'll have quick settings. You could upload already generate test history, pre-flight, which you'll be able to see your suites, your specs before actually running the test. And of course, that now you're going to have a dashboard when you first run it up. So right now we're in the initial phase, but I'm here just to give you a little preview. Here it goes. Are you guys familiar with this? Oh yeah, right? Well, now it's going to be, those visualizer, now we're going to turn it into, it's coming. There it goes. So here you go, as you can see now your test, all your files will be on the left side. You will be able to expand them, see all as before you had to click back or forward. And you'll have quick settings where you could access, turn on the code coverage or only see the failures. And I'm going to give you a little preview of what's happening. So here we go. And you're also going to have a dark mode on it. As you see your settings in one screen. You'll be able to select individual tests for pre-flight, like I said, before running them. And add, if you need to add more, they'll come up in the pre-flight screen. Still have the able to collapse and expand. You change your mind, you're able to remove one. You select a test up here in the back, run your specs. Expand it. You're also going to be able to search through your test. Say you want to search for BDD, it'll give you the, there you'll be able to select them and keeps adding to the selected test. You run all your tests, that's on the pre-flight screen. Then you'll be able to save those tests that you selected for a future run. And I see it'll be up here also on the panel. And also, like I said, you could run all the tests when they're not, and select, your quick settings. You only want to see the failures or run coverage, filter through tags, through labels. You also see history now. That'll be added to all your tests that you have run. And like I said, you could upload already generate tests that you had. You could upload them and see the visual of what you already have. And that is your trailer to what's coming soon. And now here's, I leave you with DJ Javi.
Thank you, Esme. Really cool stuff coming up with Testbox. That's nice. Okay, I'm DJ Javier Quintero. I'm Colombian, and I'm the lead developer for Forgebox. So I'm a software developer during the day and DJ at night. So that's what I do. And here is the updates that we have for Forgebox. So in the last 9 months, we have done 9 minor releases, and we have been focused on improving the performance for the app, because as you can see here, we're having over 3 million requests per week, according to the latest stats that we got from Cloudflare. So that's massive, it's impressive, and we're happy because we're growing and people are using this more. So very happy about that, and Forgebox has been up for, the uptime, it's been 99.97%. So here we have a graphic that year by year we show, and we can see that the community is growing and they are publishing more and more. So we can see that right now we have almost 1,200 packages active in Forgebox. So that's awesome. That's what we want from the community. That's what we need, in order to grow, so we can grow together. Same for the packages version. We are almost at 14,000 packages versions. So the graphic in the last 7 years, you can tell that we're growing a lot. And here, I want to show and remind you, for the ones that don't know what a business plan is. So basically, it gives you the ability to create your organization with unlimited teams. You can have unlimited public and private packages, and you can have organization-based security. And we have put a lot of effort to make this user-friendly and with team-based security, and also all the quality controls and audit logs. So this has been added to the business plan, and it's available for you to try out. You can even create your organization for free, and you can have set up the packages that you need, and then you can invite the members so you can start using it. Also, we have updated the search provider, and we have done a lot of improvements to Elasticsearch to get more relevant results, basically. So we now incorporate the organizations in the results. We can search for usernames, first or last name. We have fuzzy keyword matching as well. So a lot of improvements, all of this to get more relevant results, and also based on the installs and ratings. We are also introducing new features for our pro and business accounts. So basically, you can now subscribe to any packages, and then you can get notifications on when a new version is published, and also when a package gets unpublished. So you can monitor any package, and also you have the ability now to set up a webhook, and that way you can receive package notifications. I forgot to mention that you can subscribe to 3 packages for free on the community plan, so you can try it out. We also have an improved dependency manager where you can see like the dependencies tree with all the licenses hierarchically, right? And also for the pro and business accounts, we have a license report, so we're gonna get more information about the licenses and the rules that you have set up. That way you can get warnings and things like that. The major thing that we have been working on, it's the e-commerce, Forgebox e-commerce. So that has been in development for 6 months, no, probably more, 9 months since last ITV. And yeah, that way you can sell packages on Forgebox, you can set a price, you can set up like the kind of package that you wanna have. So if you wanna do like a single payment, or you wanna do a package subscription, you are gonna be able to do that. And you can set up the number of like installs or activations that you want, and if you're gonna allow to have minor updates or major updates. And yeah, that's coming soon, hopefully in fall 2023. So that's Forgebox, and I'm gonna leave you with Senor CLI, Mr. Bradwood.
Dr. B. Thank you, DJ Javi. Okay, take us home. We're doing good on time, I think. Woo. So, Command Box. Talk about this quick state of Command Box. It's 9 years old now. Remember when it was knee-high to a grasshopper. It's growing up, little child. We've had 40 total releases, so Command Box is now officially over the hill, release-wise. Over 600 pull requests to the Command Box core of a documentation and its modules, so super excited about that. We closed 84 tickets this year, and by this year I actually mean since the last end of the box. That's what I always do my statistics based on, so it's not even a full year. 21 pull requests, so we still have an active community of contributors, and I thank you because many of you are in this room, so keep sending those pull requests. I love to merge them. Command Box usage, still on the rise. 2023, the blue bar is the current number of downloads, and the line is what we're projected to hit. So I've actually seen this last couple of years quite a spike in the downloads of Command Box. And what's interesting is we actually implemented some new tracking directly on our S3 buckets, because these numbers we've showed you every year really only track when somebody clicks the download button on our website. It turns out that when we track what's actually being downloaded from S3, which includes homebrew, just curl commands directly to S3, apt and yum repos, we were only tracking about 60% of human downloads and probably only about half of just the total downloads. So it was actually about twice as many Command Box downloads every year, which is pretty cool. So we're probably on track to hit about 70,000 downloads. And we found that there's a lot of heavy use in build servers and CI, a lot of just curl hits, downloading Command Box, running jobs and things, just getting it right from S3. So that's pretty exciting. Glad to see people out there using it, running it in their builds, and that's definitely increasing. So CommandBox is powering the CF world. We've had, to date on ForgeBox, 854,000 Cold Fusion installations, almost 700,000 Lucy installations. It's interesting the Adobe number is slightly larger than Lucy, but I will say that when you just type server start in CommandBox, you don't specify a version, that doesn't actually count as a download because it just uses the Lucy that's bundled. So Lucy probably has a few more server starts, but that's still quite a number. And you see a huge jump in 2022. We track now just any time that you start the server, even if it's in artifacts cache. Our Docker container that John will be talking about tomorrow. Hope I don't steal any thunder with this statistic, but almost 1.5 million polls on Docker Hub, which is pretty exciting. I got some sneak peek of the State of the CF Union survey results from the 2023. Michaela sent those to me just yesterday. And 53% of the people who filled out the survey, asterisks, use CommandBox in some regard, which is cool. There's 417 responses so far, so there's a decent number of people who filled out the survey. 39% of people use CommandBox for development. 65% of people using Docker use a CommandBox-based Docker image, which is like 13%, I think, of all production numbers. This is interesting. Other people that said they put some lockdown on their server, 27% of those respondents said they use cfconfig to help out with your lockdown. So that's interesting. The number seems pretty high given the fact that there's only like 13% of total production numbers, but maybe people are using lockdowns on their staging servers. I don't know. Lots of people are checking the box, made me happy. And task runners, 6%, which doesn't seem like a big number, but I'm just happy it's not like just me anymore. There was like 26 people that had checked that. They're using task runners for stuff, so super exciting. Use it in your builds, use it for your automations, lots of things. And I got this awesome message in Slack from Kai Koenig just last week. We couldn't use the name of his company, but he has a cluster of servers running almost 1 billion API requests per month across 8 instances, all on CommandBox. That's pretty cool. So I've done the statistics and pulled the numbers, and that's a lot. So it's great to see it out there pushing really high traffic sites with a lot of stability. So 3 action-packed releases happened since the last of the box, 5.7, 5.8, and 5.9. Give you a quick little overview. 5.7, third-party library updates is just like every release now. It's like Log4j, Undertow. Everybody has updates, and there's always CVEs, so that's never going to go away. 5.7 can track your artifacts usage just locally. It touches the zip files every time it uses them, which allows you to use the new artifacts prune command. So if you have like 90 gigabytes of artifacts in your local hard drive, you can just type artifacts prune, and it'll blow away all the ones you haven't touched in maybe 3 months by default. You can configure it. And we also support PFX files for your SSL certs on your CommandBox servers, which can be pretty handy. In 5.8, we added bundled system modules, so you no longer need to install cfconfig, .env, or update check. Those come pre-installed now, but there's still a separately user-installed module that you can update independently of the CLI version. So it's just like having it installed normally. It just comes out of the box. And we use them on like 99% of our projects, so it just made sense. And in the next version of ColdBox, we're going to have the ColdBox CLI, TestBox CLI, and ContentBox CLI also bundled. And now, as Luis said, those are separate projects, so they can have their own life cycle, their own releases. We added the ability to have custom MIME types in CommandBox 5.8, which is handy. Like if you wanted to have log files, have a MIME type of text plain, so they would open up in the browser. You can do that right from your server.json. We added a config sync setting, so you know how like in VS Code, you can sign in and it synchronizes your settings between instances. You can do the same thing in CommandBox now through your ForgeBox account. So when you sign into ForgeBox, you can type config sync push, and all your config settings and all of your installed modules, it'll store those in your ForgeBox account. You can go to another computer, log into ForgeBox, config sync pull. It'll pull all those settings down. It'll install all the system modules. So it really helps the setup of a new machine. And there's even a nice little config sync diff, so you can see what's different between them. Our pro and business accounts of ForgeBox are going to get some special features. Automatic synchronization, so you don't have to manually do it. It'll just automatically keep things in sync as you change settings. And some more functionalities on top of just what you get for free. So that'll all be through your ForgeBox account. There's some cool case sensitivity settings that get into 5.8. The case sensitive pass was actually a experimental feature for a couple years in Command Box, but it allows you to force a Windows computer to behave like Linux as far as the web server, or a Linux computer to behave like Windows. It can be handy if you're deploying on Linux and testing on Windows, and you want to root out those case sensitivity issues. So that's the top level setting. And then we added a bunch of baked-in predicates on top of Undertow's predicates that have no case versions. I tried to get the Undertow developers to just add that to the core, and they were like, well, that would be duplicating functions because there's already a case-sensitive flag. I'm like, never mind. I'll add it myself because I can do that. So there's no case versions of everything. Make sure you use those if you're on Windows. We improved the load balance proxy handler, which is something that's built into Undertow. Allows you to do load balanced reverse proxying directly from Command Box to act as a load balancer in front. Pretty cool, and it works with SSL now, which it didn't used to. Some improvements to the Command Box REPL. Member functions chained literals wouldn't ever return the value due to a long-standing Lucy bug that I eventually gave up on ever getting fixed, and I worked around it. Gosh dang it. So now you actually get to see those values like it should have worked. Per server preferred browsers, right? When I click server open on this browser, I want it to always be in Firefox. That's a new feature. And John Clausen talked to me about adding some cool stuff. The logbox appender used for the console logs. Now we can support any of the built-in log4j appender layout pattern widgets. I don't know, whatever I say is the wrong word. But the important one is the JSON one. So if you want to send your log files to Elasticsearch, you can easily flip over to the JSON template layout, and all your console logs come out in JSON. You can send it to Elasticsearch or any of the supported log4j patterns. So Adam's like back here like, ooh, what is it's like an evil laugh. There's a ForgeBox version debug command. So if you've ever been scratching your head and couldn't figure out why the semantic version range was choosing one version over another, right? You can type, okay, when I type ColdBox at 6.x, why do I get this version? Here are all the ColdBox versions. The bold white versions are all the ones that match the semantic version range, and the green one is the one that was chosen. So this is a little visual debugger to help you understand how your semantic version ranges work, and I completely ripped it off of a Node library that was out there. Okay, 5.9 just came out recently. We have preliminary support for Java 17. So if you're on Lucy 5.3.10, that works pretty good on Java 17. Adobe just released 2023 yesterday, which has Java 17 support. So the Command Box CLI and any servers it starts will also work on Java 17 as well. So feel free to test that. Let me know if you have any issues. And we added some features to override package install paths. If you're one of those weirdos that likes to stick your modules up outside of the web root in some place, I know. So you don't have to manually do it every time you install it. You can put in your box.json. The new convention for modules is here as opposed to the default, and Command Box will obey that every time you install a module. It'll go, okay, I know where those go now. So that'll just help keep those consistent without a lot of manual work. And we added some cool fun stuff like the tree flag to the ls command to get a nice little ASCII art tree representation of your file system. Some fun things like that. There's a new clipboard command, thanks to Eric, wherever he's sitting, for the suggestion. You can pipe text into this, and it'll put it on your Windows, Mac, Linux clipboard. Asterisk Linux requires an extra library to be installed, but it should work. But there's more. There's always more. We are also now introducing Command Box Pro, which we've talked about for a while, but we've finally pulled the trigger and gotten it set up. Command Box Pro is going to be a professionally supported version of Command Box that includes several exclusive features and benefits, and it also includes a business SLA that you can customize. So Command Box will always be free. It'll always be open source. You can always use it for whatever you want, but we have clients that want to be able to have a supported version. They want to be able to have Ortus there backing the product. So Command Box Pro provides the professional support and additional features that go with it. Here's a pretty diagram, which is covered also in the bullet points I'm about to get to. So multi-server I'll talk about here in a second. Automatic JDK management, the Service Manager module will be bundled. Also a ForgeBox Pro account will be bundled with that. And you'll get a free license to one of our cache extensions with every Command Box Pro license. So lots of bundled things on top of just the support that comes to Command Box Pro. That is live now on our website, so please talk to us if your company is interested in that. And the big feature for CommandBox Pro is multi-site, and I have a session in 8 minutes in the other room to talk about this, so I'll just gloss over it. But multi-site is designed to allow you to throw your Apache, Nginx, IIS web servers in the trash and be able to do everything entirely from CommandBox as one combined web server. So it's a fully featured web server. With the mod CFML support, you were able to have multiple web routes, but there's still always just one set of rewrites, one set of virtual directories. Directory browsing was on or off for the whole server. And now you can actually define as many individual sites you want with completely different settings per site. And it's all built into CommandBox. So as many as you want, rewrites, lockdowns, virtual directories, can all be done on a per site basis now, and unlimited binding. So you don't just get one HTTP port, you have as many HTTP ports as you want, SSL ports, AJP, and you can bind them to all the sites however you want, just like IIS or just like Apache would do. So it's very configurable, and you don't need anything sitting in front of CommandBox now. We've expanded the server.json format, which I'll go into in my talk, and you can basically simplify your deploys down to just one moving part. Here's a quick sneak peek of what the server.json could look like. There's a new sites object where you can define your sites. And everything that can go into the web block can also go inside of a site. So all those settings can be duplicated in there. And then you can see a little sneak peek of the new binding syntax. This is all backwards compatible, so the old server.jsons will still work even if you're not using multi-site. And you can also point to external JSON files in the same way Nginx would point to a sites-enabled folder with a bunch of comp files and say, include all of these. We can do the same thing with CommandBox. You can have a folder that declares your sites, much easier to manage. Very similar to the like web.config file that IIS has or htaccess. There's conventions where if it sees it in the web root, we'll just pick it up. It'll import the settings. Okay, so there's a list of things that can be configured on a per site basis, things like access logs, error pages. All this will be in my session here in just a few minutes. So coming very, very soon, we have new AWS Marketplace AMIs and containers built on top of CommandBox Pro. Server sync via ForgeBox, that'll be coming very soon, CFconfig sync. We also have some exciting features like some GUI visualizers for managing your servers that will be part of CommandBox Pro, so you don't have to do everything via the command line, and some nice CommandBox Pro stats dashboards. So with that, remember that Chuck Norris has been to Mars, and that's why there are no signs of life. So we have 5 minutes until our first session. And okay, this is the Ortus room. Elm 2 is the box room. And the hands-on is Elm 1 right next to it. Okay. Oh, I'm not? Oh, perfect. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day.